So my grandfather was like a mafia in movies. I hope you're not scared of me now.
The biggest takeaway for you?
It's more like just getting away from family.
Does traditions and societal pressures ever annoyed you? And which part of Thailand are you from?
Bangkok.
Were there also any moments that like you were in a boardroom where you have to prove your point twice because maybe you're a woman?
Yeah,
Yes.
I felt like my life was doing it maybe for somebody else's expectation.
Why do you want to do an MBA? Why INSEAD now? Someone said that you're from a royal Thai family. Is that true?
Who said that?
If you were given a chance, would you have done anything different?
Oh, wow, it's a very difficult question.
Maybe a young Thai woman, girl dreaming to be something. What would you tell her? Maybe you can start with me. I'm happy to get coached.
I should have watched the previous podcast to know about this, and I would have prepared it. Oh my God.
Hey folks, on INSEAD Insights, we have our sixth guest. Here is the Voratip. You all know her. SG folks will know her. She's the coverage banker working for Bangkok Bank. She recently took the role as a vice president, leading a lot of acquisitions, debt coverage, whatnot. I'm sure she will tell a lot more better than me. But being a female leader in the financial world and how she got there, we're going to hear her story. Welcome, Voratip.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
So,
starting with, tell a little bit about yourself that I missed. How would you introduce yourself?
how would I introduce myself? Simple girl.
Simple girl.
From a simple family.
Small town.
Small town.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a joke, but I mean, so yeah, I would just probably call myself as a banker. So I do project finance. Yeah, just very into that space. So that's why I'm very happy to be here in INSEAD to meet all of you guys. And we've come from different backgrounds. So it's just been a few months of very interesting space.
Yeah, definitely. Like on that aspect, you get to meet a lot of cool people. I do enjoy that. But so I came to. How was your journey? Like as a kid growing up in Thailand and to where you are today. Have you dreamed that you're going to be here one day in Singapore?
No, I didn't. So as a kid, I was just living in Thailand, and then but my mom, she actually went to school in England, so she went to boarding school as well. And then so for us, she kind of like a little bit. I guess my grandfather was very visionary, so he was sending her there. But then when it comes to our time, so she also decided to send us. So then I have three siblings. So I have one brother, two older sisters, and myself. So my brother goes first. So usually at year 6, so that's the age of 12.
You said like your granddad, who was a visionary, sent your mom to England for education. Thailand is not a very well-developed country, right?
No.
So if this was a generation back, and that means, was he like a prominent person in the society back in the day? So
that's a very good question. Yeah. So my grandfather. So my mom's side is really well off. So my grandfather was like a mafia in movies.
Oh.
Yes. So all the movie theaters in Bangkok were owned by him.
Oh,
Initially,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
And then all the big guys came to bought that off. But like previously, like all the independent ones were owned by him. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So that's him. Yeah.
It's still such a contradicting worlds because he's into mafia, but he wants.
Okay, he's not a mafia. I'm just using it to describe it.
No, he owns like a chain of theaters, but he still wants his daughter to be educated abroad, maybe have a new school of thought.
Yes, that's true. But the reason I said mafia because so my mom told me this story that so my mom is the youngest daughter and then very close to my grandfather and he loves her, so he would bring her along to meetings with his partners or whoever.
Okay.
And then he would just suddenly accidentally drop a gun.
Oh, okay.
And then my mom, being a young daughter, would be like, "Daddy, you just dropped a gun." And then the partner would just be like, "Oh, that's a sign of like don't mess up. Yeah. Don't mess with him. Yeah. So that's like the negotiation meeting that he would bring my mom along.
Oh.
Yes.
So I'm sure she grown up and seeing all these deals happening to some extent at least.
To some extent, and then she was sent overseas.
To calm her down.
Yeah. So that's what I meant. So like the industry is like very, very, very like cutthroat, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. So, and
I hope you're not scared of me now.
No. You're still very approachable and friendly, and nothing changes. So, and your mom envisioned the same for you because you've been sent to boarding.
So she felt that the education she received when she went overseas like helped her a lot, and then like the education in Thailand at that time when I was growing up, it wasn't as great. So there was a point in time where international schools, you have to be foreigners to go to international school.
So being a Thai, you can't go to a school in Thailand if it's an international school.
That's right. So I can only go to local school, and which they don't really teach English much.
Of course. Yeah. Is that true that the fact that before you went to Australia, you were not able to speak English and you picked it up over there?
That's right. Yeah.
Was it all part of boarding school?
Yeah. So I just get shifted there. Yeah, that's it. You just start.
I see how you got it. So, there are so many perceptions about boarding schools, and things happen over there, at least from movies, or how kids go through tough times, or a lot of negativity around boarding school. But not many people that went to boarding school turned out that way, because there was a part of me also went to boarding school, maybe for a year or two. So I never seen boarding school as a bad thing. So were there any challenges when you were in Australia? Now you're in this new country, you don't know the language. How did you cope up?
So I was quite lucky because I didn't go alone. So I have my two sisters who went with me. But my older sisters went first. And then me and my other sister, we went together. So by the time I get there at the school, that's already more of my family's there. So that was good. But the language, I guess because I went when I was very young, I was like 11 years old. So I guess we just kind of like, when you're young, you pick up, but they give us extra classes. So I have English classes that they get through with us. In terms of like the struggles, it's not, okay, what you watch in the movies, like I feel like the boarding school I went in Australia, they're very friendly, they're very nice. So there's no bullying, like in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm still Thai, right? And I'm still Asian in a foreign country.
Exactly.
So as much as they're friendly, but they probably won't consider me like true friend, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so at first they might kind of like be just friendly, but if they go out, they just don't invite you along because,
it's a subtle...
Yeah.
Not, I don't know.
So just friends in school.
Yeah.
And then that's a boundary. Yeah. But not all of them are like that.
So how long was this in Australia, the boarding part?
So boarding was from year 6 to year 12.
So you said you were almost 6 years in boarding school in Australia. Were there any moments that you missed home?
Yes. I think the first day that I got in, I started crying. That was it. But then that was it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
And you never felt that you're missing your family or time with your family, or?
No, because, I get to go back like quite often, and also my mom comes and visit 4 times a year too. So I get to go back four times a year, and then during the term, my mom would come and visit us and take us out. So because of that, I don't feel like I was missing that part of my family. So my mom is like a super mom. Yeah.
Wow.
But apart from that, I also had a great time in boarding school.
Yeah. At 11.
Yeah, I started at 11. So I only I cried once.
That's it. So you're so resilient since 11.
No, I think I'm just not the type that cry a lot.
Yeah.
Except if I watch sad movies.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The Nemo one.
I haven't seen that.
Finding Nemo. Okay. Yeah. So looking back, would you do the same thing if you were given a choice when you were 11 years old? Go back to Australia?
Yeah, I actually loved it.
Did you?
I did,
okay.
yeah.
And what's the journey after that? Like, And for your college or pre-university, where did you go?
Yeah, so college, university, just Sydney University.
Oh, in Australia
In
then?
Australia as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I heard like the parties in Australia can go wild. So did you have a good time there?
Yes, yes, yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of Singaporeans there in Australia as well.
Okay.
So in university we have clubs.
Yes.
So the Thai club. So I was vice president of the Thai club.
Oh, okay.
And then what we do mainly just parties.
Yes.
Singaporean clubs are probably well known to throw the best parties in town.
Okay.
So we just joined their club and then we just go party with them. So I met a few Singaporeans there too.
Ah, nice. So the journey of your adolescent, you kind of slowly moved to pre-university. So what was the biggest takeaway from this Australian onboarding thing?
What was the what?
The biggest takeaway for you? Maybe in that age you won't be able to understand the takeaway or anything, but maybe looking back, do you?
I think it helps with my resilience. Like I think it helps to kind of like shape who I am. So I feel I'm very resilient. I feel also I'm quite independent. Yeah, and then I just get things done at the earlier stage.
So where did this Singapore came in? Like, is it a country that you always wanted to envision yourself to work in Singapore? Or?
It's more like just getting away from family.
Ah.
So I was like very free in Australia for many years.
Yes,
was living by myself too. So when I in college, like I didn't stay in college. I just have my own condo, but very close to uni.
Of course, yeah.
And then back here, being the youngest daughter. So when I came back, I was living with my parents, and then like. There's curfews.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Even though I was already started working. Yeah. So, but then it's fine. Like my mom, then the curfew wasn't there for that long. But then my mom would just wait for me to come home, and that's like I just feel bad if I come home late, and then she's just still there waiting for me.
You. Yeah.
So then I just pick Singapore, which is like we call it Asia Light, right? So there's very similar to Australia, very close to home, so I could fly back anytime I wanted. Then I just pack my bag and come here, basically.
So coming from I'm sure you're from a very prominent family, and spending enough time in Australia, having that free school of thought, and moving back, does traditions and societal pressures ever annoyed you?
Annoyed me,
or like blocked you, or in directions that you want to go? Maybe tradition might say, you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't do this.
I guess not the traditional mindset, but like when I went back to work in Bangkok, I kind of like felt a little bit like I didn't belong there. So I felt a little bit like the jokes, like I didn't really get it. So because I've been away for so long.
Yes.
Yeah. So I kind of like feel a little bit left out.
Yes.
And the things I enjoy, they don't enjoy. So I love bread, I love sandwiches, they love rice, and I want to go out for sandwiches for lunch, and no one will go with me. That's the kind of thing. The joke, like I said, the joke doesn't make sense.
Yes.
But otherwise, the work is fine. The work culture, I think because I grew up in Thailand, so I understand the culture of respecting the elders. It's there. So I get it, and I'm working in Bangkok right now, so which means I'm okay with the culture now. I think I've integrated better, but at the beginning it was quite good.
I can relate to that, because the more that we grow in life as a person in general, we try to accommodate things. Like it was very similar to me when I moved back to India a year back, just to integrate. But I totally understand that cultural clashes and like why, and especially comedy is very cultural. Like a joke in a culture may not be a joke.
Yes, and suddenly there's so many new slangs in Thai that I don't even know. I'm like, what does that mean? Yeah.
Makes sense. And which part of Thailand are you from?
Bangkok.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Bangkok has such a reputation. Of course, a great tourist destination. You have a great fun, but in general, there is a reputation in not everywhere, but to some extent, people go there to have fun, especially when they say Thai women, they relate that to certain industries. The reason to ask is like, you are in financials, while you are like, exploring career options. Were there moments that really annoyed you, like people stereotyping you?
For careers, no. But like, just general, like if you, it doesn't really happen to me in Bangkok though. It happens to me more in Singapore.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like being a Thai in Singapore in like a social setting, I mean,
Of course,
yeah. So I mean, they have certain stereotypes.
Of course, very close-minded.
Yeah.
At class, you used a word called promiscuous.
Yes.
For Thai women to be labeled, or men in this financially in general workplaces to expect something. So could you elaborate a little bit more, like how did you build up your resilience around this? How do you start handling situations like this?
Yeah, in social settings, right? I mean, I just don't engage. I think that's basically what I do. But it happens. It happens.
It happens. Yeah. Okay. That never happened in your professional environment?
Professional environment, no. No. Yeah.
Were there also any moments that like you were in a boardroom, let's say around a lot of men, because finance is very traditional and there's a lot of men in there, right? Where you have to prove your point twice because maybe you're a woman.
That would be more of like gender inequality, right? So I think that's across whichever nationality you are. Definitely, but I think in Thailand you find that it's a little bit more open in that sense. Like there's a lot of
than in Singapore.
I think so.
Oh wow!
Yeah, there's a lot of Thai blue chip listed companies with CEOs being women.
Oh wow!
Yes, there's a lot more. So like for Bangkok Bank, for example, like the senior management, a lot of the ones that I respect, they're all women as well. There's a lot of women in Bangkok Bank.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Good to know.
Quite interesting.
Quite interesting. Going back to your resilience thing, right? Coming to your adult life now, to be where you are in your career, I'm sure you have made some tough decisions along the way. Any toughest decision that you have to make in terms of career that might be impacting your life?
I guess it would have been the latest decision. Which which when I kind of like went for sabbatical, it wasn't actually going for sabbatical, it was just resigning. Yes. It was that decision. So I resigned, but then the company asked me to stay, so then it turned into a sabbatical.
So usually when people apply for sabbatical, they want to recharge themselves, or they want to pick a new direction for themselves. What was your motivation for sabbatical?
Well, I would say my reason for resigning was because I was just so tired. I was just miserable. I was working day in, day out, and I was just like a zombie. And I felt like the last 10 years of working, I was just like sleepwalking.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't remember. Like I don't have good memories. Like when I think about it, it was just so blur. It was just work. And then if I think about memories before that, I could remember it. It just come like, very, very bright, very clear. But my last 10 years of memories is very blur.
It's funny that I can kind of see in your face, right? Because when you're talking about Australia, you were like, you're all giggling and you're happy. You're in a happy mood. But you said last decade, pretty much.
10 years, pretty much. Yeah.
So
it's very long,
right? A significant part of your life.
It is.
And you only, the sabbatical, the motivation for you were reflecting what was happening, and you took a sabbatical.
Yeah. So before I decided to just leave, right? So I just took that pilgrimage trip that I spoke to you about, which helps me to kind of like see different side of things in life, and then like kind of like what's important, and because I was so tired and I just want time off, and I've been working so hard, and I haven't given myself time or reward myself, so I just actually wanted a year off, and I didn't. So that's why I just wanted to leave. But I was very blessed that the company didn't want me to leave and asked me to stay on sabbatical. So they just said, go on sabbatical as long as you need. Yeah. So I was quite blessed in that sense. Yeah.
Wow. Supporting leadership for sure.
Yeah.
In that
But during sabbatical, I definitely had a lot of time to think. Yeah.
So going back to your pilgrimage that you were on during the sabbatical,
Yeah.
you said it's run by monks.
Yeah, so it's led by monks, arranged in Thailand by like some agent, right? But then when we go to India, so it's a Buddhism pilgrimage trip to go to a place where Buddha was born, where he passed away, and then like some significant places in the history. So we go to India, go to Nepal because that's where the Buddha was born.
And you are
led by monks, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and then we do a lot of praying. Morning, night, that's like the usual prayers. And then going to the significant places, then we do meditation and more praying. And then the monks would like kind of like give you stories from yeah.
It's funny because your journey is like you started in a Western free school thinking, in a Western school of thought.
Yeah.
Then you were working in like in finance.
That's true.
And now you've gone back to prayers,
my
pilgrimage, meditation.
Yeah, that's
Such
true.
a kind of contrasting colors are coming in there. So what did you learn out of it?
From the
trip, like who was Voratip before and after? What changed?
Well, I think I was, so before I went on a trip, it was just like my head was just everywhere. And then I decided, well, my mom asked me to go on a trip. So my mom goes on this trip every year.
Oh, okay.
Every year.
Okay.
And she's been asked, like, except COVID. So before COVID, she was going every year. She asked me and I was too busy. Right? So I just couldn't go. I was too busy. And then COVID stopped. Then this thing started after. So this is like the first trip after COVID, right? She asked me. So I thought, okay, I will go. And when I went, I decided I'm just gonna put all my work aside and just really focus on this because this could, I could learn something from this trip. What I learned was, all my problems weren't really that important.
Is it not?
Yeah, because I went to the poorest part of India, which is North India.
Yes.
And they're so poor. I look outside the bus because we travel on bus. And then see kids just living in shacks, right? They're very poor. And but they're smiling and they just look so happy and they're just enjoying life. And they just make me feel like, my problems are like not much of a problem.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I have a good life.
Yeah.
I have a great life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny. I also can relate a little bit because when COVID hit, like I had some mental health issues. Not issues. I was maybe like depression, like the monotone of work and work and work. Gray skies. When I went back to India in 1 year, I'm like, whoa. Because you always get to see other person who are unfortunate or maybe I'm more blessed than them.
Yes.
Then it's just like, oh, there's nothing to complain here. It's just a different way of looking at things.
And they look happy too, and they're happy with their lives, right?
So how you can perceive it. So it's more like you see things a little bit differently before that.
Yeah. So I saw things differently, and then I came back. I was still working. I came back, and then I thought, like, what is it that I wanted in my life? Like, is this what I wanted? Or is it somebody else wanted this?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I felt like my life was doing it maybe for somebody else's expectation.
Were you?
I think so.
Playing around for somebody's expectation.
Yeah, I think my dad has a lot to do with it too.
Okay.
Right? So I mean, I have to do well, have to be somewhere, be somebody.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You mentioned your dad. You said your dad is Nepalese or half Nepalese.
He's full Nepalese.
Full Nepalese.
Yeah, he's full Nepalese.
Oh wow.
So I'm half.
Oh, you're half Nepalese.
Not many people know that. Yeah.
And when you went to Nepal, like, were you able to track down a few things or?
No. I couldn't because we kind of like very focused on the pilgrimage locations. Right?
Yes.
My mom and my two sisters just went to Nepal, so I missed that trip. So they went to Nepal like a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah. But we don't have family there anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, we don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would love to go. And have a look.
I'm sure you will, definitely. So it's that expectations that you were trying to reach and which led to sabbatical and the trip.
Because my dad is really well-to-do. Like he's kind of like well-known in Thailand as well, a little bit in the business world. He also went to Harvard.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Not surprised of expectations now.
So there's a lot of things. So like he's very smart. He does well. And then there's 4 of us. So me and my 2 sisters and my brother. And he just want one of us to go to like good Ivy League school. Right? And apparently I'm like his last hope. So he really wanted me to go to Harvard or MIT for the longest time. I don't really want to go to US. So I decided to come to INSEAD, but he's very happy now.
But INSEAD is not far away from them.
So he's quite nice. So like before he's like, I know it has to go to Harvard or MIT or Stanford, right? Those 3 are great. And then I kind of like, okay, but I just apply for INSEAD. And then once he knows that I'm in INSEAD, now he goes around to tell his friend INSEAD is the best school.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it's great, Dad.
Yeah, it's good for INSEAD now.
Good for INSEAD, yes.
So for yourself, have you thought, why do you want to do an MBA? Because you're in a respectable position and had a great career. Why INSEAD now?
Yeah, it's very strange. So it's a part because it was the start of my sabbatical, and MBA is not something I wanted to do for a long time. It may have been instilled for many years, and then I still think I want to do MBA, right? So I wanted to do MBA when I was younger, but then it changed to EMBA. So then I waited, and then when I went on sabbatical, then I thought, let's apply. So I applied.
And got your MBA into INSEAD. Perfect. So connecting with the INSEAD MBA, like in the classroom discussions, you're so elegant in questioning things. I'm like, wow. Then people said the same thing. She's very elegant. Then someone said that you're from a royal Thai family. Is that true? Is it not?
No.
Okay.
Who said that?
Quite a few. I can't take the names. Quite a few classmates of ours.
No, I'm not at all. Not. Just like I said, simple girl
from a small town.
That's right.
Big dreams.
That's right. That's right. But but I can probably relate it to why they might think.
Please, Why? Why do you think they thought about you that way?
I just feel like I am quite private, and I'm just very quiet, and I keep remember when we met, I said I have this resting bitch face. So I just keep to myself, and then my face when I'm not smiling, I just look very serious.
Is that a strategy, or like because you're in a leadership position, that's how you navigate team dynamics?
I wouldn't say it's a strategy because I had it since I was in high school. So I really don't think so.
Okay.
So I think it's just me. It's just me.
It's just you. Okay.
Yeah, because like when I'm not talking, when I'm just in or by myself, my head is just thinking about something all the time. Like I'm just 100 things in my head.
So what's the next thing you want to be then? Because you're constantly in that.
For my career or
It's career, family, life.
I actually quite happy where I am. So I want to stop doing the 100 things in my head. So I'm here to kind of like, learn how to just kind of like slow it down. I'm okay with where I am in my career. So that's why it was a little bit of like a bit difficult question to answer, because like I didn't really come to INSEAD to further my career.
But, is it not? Okay.
It wasn't that decision. It was more like I wanted to meet diverse people like you.
Well, thank you.
That's right. And then just kind of hear different ideas, because where I am, it's just industry of bankers. So who I meet are bankers, lawyers, accountants. I can meet them outside. Like I'm not here to meet them, right? So I'm here to meet diverse people.
Different school of thoughts. Okay.
That's right.
Initially, like before you mentioned 10 years of constantly doing the same thing and you're tired and you took sabbatical. If you were given a chance, would you have done anything different to make a different decision?
Yes, but I don't know how though, because like I felt like I just woke up.
What would you do differently if you don't know how, regardless?
I guess, I mean, if I could go back to tell my young self, I guess I would just kind of Oh wow, that's a very difficult question because I was stuck in it for a very long time. And it literally felt like, I just woke up. So I'm sure if I go back and tell my young self, like, hey, you don't need to worry so much about this, care so much about your work and stuff, I probably wouldn't listen to myself back then. It would have been very difficult. Yeah. Oh wow, it's a very difficult question. Yeah.
Interesting. Would that have been like maybe switching the industries, or because finance can be
But I enjoy finance.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay. So.
It's one of the thing, like, because I enjoy it so much that even during the weekend, if I do some of the work, I actually enjoy doing the work. And then I get sucked into it. Right? So I like, it drives the passion that I have, and I enjoy it. And I love the challenge. So I spend time on it, and then I forget about everything else in my life. Yeah. So that's the bad part. Yeah. So I have to not get sucked into it.
I think it's the passion, as you said.
Yeah.
Does it have any impact on other areas? Like, when you're like too much into the work.
Yeah, it definitely has. Yes. Personal life, friends, family. Yeah, very much.
Perfect.
Yeah. So before the sabbatical, like, before that decade, me and my mom were like best friends. So we'll go traveling. Like, I will be her go-to daughter for going traveling. But in the past 10 years, I haven't really been traveling with her. She will ask me, and I would just be like, I'm sorry, I'm busy. Yeah. And so my sabbatical, I went traveling with my mom to 5 different countries. Yeah.
Okay. Finally, you're reconciling the terms and conditions as well. You missed for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I was just focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah. Okay. So you would tell the same, but when you're going after your dreams and stuff, it's not easy, right? You have to give up some part of you. Maybe you wouldn't be where you are today if it wasn't for that 10 years.
Yeah, but I wasn't happy. So I mean, yes, you're right. If that is what I wanted, then if I give up something, then it's fine. But then I realized it's not exactly what I wanted. Right?
After reaching here.
Right?
Okay.
So back to the question, I guess I would try to tell my young self that, because there's a lot of pressure from my family, right, to do well, and to be somewhere, to be somebody, right? So I guess I kind of like have to go back to my young self and said, just do what you really want to do, right? Like, really think about it. Yeah.
I mean, just tying back to your young self, to like maybe a young Thai woman girl dreaming to be something, what would you tell her? Like, see, in a developing world, money matters, right? Like, if you take a Western country, there are social benefits that you can fall back onto something. You have that cushion to fall back on. You won't get hurt as badly. Whereas in a developing country, it won't be the same case. They have to be like, very diligent, keep working harder. So what would you tell someone in your age back in Thailand? Now, let's say middle to below middle class, socioeconomic background with big dreams. How to navigate this landscape?
I think for me, it's maybe I'm a little bit biased, but like, I really think it's really important to do what you enjoy, what your passion is, and you have to work hard. Like, that's the key. And then, like, you have to be very laser focused on what you want, and it has to be what you really want, right? So once you know what you really want, you're laser focused on it, you work really hard. You can't be lazy. And then, so I work really hard. I work like non-stop, and I work hard, right? But I also enjoy what I was doing. Then I was enjoying it too much into that, right? But there are parts of me that, I don't need to climb up all the way to the top. Right? I enjoy certain part of the work, and that's where my boundary is, right? But when you start, you have to work hard, and you have to build up your expertise,
of course,
right? Yeah, and time is what working against you.
Of course, it's limited. Yeah. So, where you are now in Singapore in your career, in terms of your personal life, would you move back to Thailand?
now, I mean, I spoke about it. Like me and my husband, we were thinking of going back to Thailand 2020, and then end of 2019 with COVID. So we kind of like postponed that. Now it's 2025.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of things changes. So my mom-in-law is not well. So then now it comes like, we're just staying here to look after my mom-in-law. And then we'll see how it goes. So, but definitely we're going to go back to Thailand at some point. Yeah.
We're slowly coming to the rare end of this beautiful conversation. So one of the tradition is I take the questions from the previous guest and ask you, Aiki, from Indonesia, the brother from Indonesia, said, how would you use your INSEAD degree for good? What would you do?
How would I use this for good, right?
Yeah.
What would I do? So for me, what made me really happy and contented with my life is going on that pilgrimage trip and the sabbatical, like finding myself. So I definitely want to be like a coach or mentor, and then make people find what is it that they want. I want to do that more. So I'm trying to do it with my team, whoever I coach. But I mean, I'm not gonna go and start up a firm just for that.
Yeah.
But it's something that's more on like a personal level.
Yes.
So like I want to be able to help younger people to like really make sure that they doing what they want, not what other people expected of them. And then they might end up being like me, and then have to go on sabbatical to find myself. It's a little bit old, right? But I think that's what I really want to do.
So you kind of mentioning, you're kind of saying that you want to provide them with tools how to manage, rather than completely sucking up yourself into feeling empty at the end.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you can start with me. I'm happy to get coached.
I'm pretty sure that you know what you want to do. That's why you're here.
I wish I wish I had that clarity, but sure. Okay. So what would be your question for the next guest? I don't know who that is.
Wow. A question from next guest. I should have watched the previous podcast to know about this, and I would have prepared it. Oh my God.
On spot.
Wow. So it goes along with what I wanted to do, which so Ike's questions ask me what I want to do. So my question is to the next person is, are you really doing what you think you wanted to do? Or are you doing it because you're following somebody else's expectation?
Wow.
And for following the norms?
I think that comes back from a lot of your personal journey. Yeah. Wow. Okay, I'll definitely ask that for the next question.
Yes.
With that, I'm so thankful. It was such a great conversation.
Thank you so much.
So many giggles along the way, and I get to know little things about Voratip and who she is and why the way she is and how she operates. It's amazing. I'm glad to know you.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for the time.
No, my pleasure. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.